I am Jeff Olson, and this is my show, Heady Metal. Today is St. Vitus Dave Chandler, the interview. Tons of tunes, some of his playlists, some of mine, some requested playlists. Enjoy. First off, a memorial. Man, this is fun. This is for Metal Messiah Radio. It's a new thing that I'm...
Cool.
So we're just calling up all our old friends and hassling them, like having a great time, talking about old stories and whatever comes up.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in front of the heavy metal encyclopedia, and there's just a great photo of you, and it talks about your charming smile.
Yeah.
So the first thing that I want to know, you look like you're having a great time out there, and we were really appreciated getting to see you October 17th with the Misfits in Typo.
Oh, yeah.
That
cool.
that was badass. That was really good to see you. Yeah, I had to drive, so I didn't really get to toast a lot with you.
Yeah.
I was very straight that night, I remember. Anyways, man, when you are playing... do you really know all those lyrics? Can you remember all of them? Because you're definitely singing them while you're playing, dude. So what's up with that?
Most of them, yeah, because I wrote them, so most of them I can remember. Sometimes I'm just like mouthing whatever, But for the most part, I remember them. On certain songs like "Dying Inside" and "Born Too Late" and "I Bleed Black," stuff like that. Yeah, I know those words. Yeah.
And on that theme, let's say "Born Too Late," were you going through a rough time during those lyrics, or were you just choosing that thought and mindset? Too late.
When I wrote the song?
Yeah. That's very... I was crying the other day listening to it.
That was pretty much the mindset that all of us had been, because that's the way we were like being treated in the metal world, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because we were definitely, not in style. We always figured that if we had been, the same age but started like 10 years earlier, as something that would have been easier, to try and make it in the 60s than it was in the late late 60s or 70s rather than it was in the late 70s, 80s.
Oh yeah, yeah. Do you think any of that? Do you think it was the SST label, or just maybe just metal labels were really tough at the time, like they weren't really pushing? Yeah,
the only metal things that they were interested in was the hair bands, especially in California. That was a real big thing. And then then the thrash bands and speed metal bands started coming out. So we were none of the above. So Yeah, so there was no metal label that was going to even come close to doing anything with us. So we lucked out when SST decided to experiment.
Right, that's one of the cool things about SST. I think that could have brought you guys onto the map in the later, category, which is really funny. That happens to old bands. It's like they might not know if they're ever going to see you guys again, and all of a sudden you're legends, or it's funny. The mythical beings of heavy metal. So now you get to enjoy that, and what is going to happen with you guys live in the next, let's just say 6 months? Is there stuff going on?
Well, we're going to go back to Europe for about like 2.5 weeks or something, maybe 3 weeks in December. We were supposed to go earlier, but the volcano screwed everything up. So Wino has to go with his band later to make up for dates that they had scheduled. So we have to go later. But we're going to do that and try and hit some places up that we didn't hit when we just were there in February. Cool. And then next year, there's like rumors about some kind of like show that some guys trying to get together, but there's nothing really conclusive about that. Rodney's going to like talk about that, but we're going to try and get into the European festivals next summer. You're
the creator of all this, all these years of awesome St. Vitus music, and you're a funny dude, Dave. So,
I'm trying to get some shit going down, but we'll see.
Yeah. Is everybody like diaspora? Are they all over the country? What's up with that?
Yeah, that's what makes it hard to rehearse, because everybody lives in a different state. it's like Wino doesn't even really have an actual address because he tours a lot, so he's just kind of traveling. He calls himself a gypsy. And then, and then, yeah, Mark is in California and Henry's in Texas, and I'm here in Louisiana. So before we do these like tours and stuff, we have to like go to the city of the first show for a couple days early and rehearse somewhere and stuff. So
yeah, that's wild.
Because we can rehearse to the records and stuff like I was doing today, but so we're so spread out.
That's so weird, Dave. Because like that's what
gonna
I
make
had
it hard to write the album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That stuff like that I had to do with Trouble. I mean, dude, it was like pretty much a month of practicing to albums, and then go out there and no one would show up to practice and stuff. I forget. Let's just go. But no, we would practice, but it'd be like really 3 good practices, and the rest were all like, no. And then you go on this, then you're in front of like, 5,000 people, 10,000 people at festivals going, whoa. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna like change some gears here with that. Any songs written yet for the new stuff?
Not really. We got a couple that we're gonna try and piece together at sound checks and stuff, but there's nothing that's actually completely finished.
Okay.
So yeah.
Is it gonna? Any ideas? Like, are you gonna be doomy? Are you gonna be more your punk side?
No, it'll be like it'll be more along the lines of like a Born Too Late style kind of record.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you're going back in the have stuff. Cool. Is it okay to ask you tech questions about your equipment? It looks like you're an SG guy.
Yeah.
Gibson SG.
I'm looking to get another guitar with a whammy bar on it that won't go out of tune as bad. So I probably, and it's like,
but that won't sound. That won't give the same Vitus sound, Dave.
Yeah.
No, I mean.
But I can't afford the like old vintage Flying V's, so
right.
I'll be looking into that. But normally, all I've ever used is SG. Yeah.
Yeah, and would you beef your pickups up? You use stock Gibson pickups. In the photo here that I have, like, of you, and I can't remember at the show. I was like, I always look at all that stuff, and it looked like you had stock Gibson.
Yeah, I never messed with any of the pickups. I used to just like get like the frets, made smoother and stuff like that, and I'd have them put like a Kaler whammy bar on it, but they only stay in tune for a certain amount of time, and then they just fuck up. So Sure.
So you didn't use a Kaler bar, none of the weird. Gibbs, that would be no Bigsby's like on old SGs.
No, the ones that I had didn't have any bars on them, so I had to have the Kalers put on because they couldn't take the Floyd Roses because of how you had to drill through the body or something.
Yeah, so, Floyd Rose on an SG would be that'd be very odd.
Yeah, exactly.
It just ouch to the guitar, like no.
Yeah.
No, that's a great. And on that note, I'm mumbling. We love your warm sound. It's definitely, different than anyone's sound out there. There is except when you play a lead, it just bursts into outer space. It's, and it's one of the cool things about your whammy bar. And my favorite guitar players are all bar guys who use the vibra bar. There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
So when I try to hack, I have to use a bar because that's all I can kind of do is make noise. What gives you that warm sound? Can you tell us that?
It's just like more low end than high end is basically how it's, because we always just tried to get that low bassy in, so we just turned the low end like way up, and it just automatically does it.
Just on the head, not a pedal EQ?
No, there's no like outside EQ or nothing like that. I tried that for a while, but it didn't really make any difference. It's pretty much sounded the same.
Yeah.
So, you just do it because it just automatically does that because the bass has that low end rumble. So when you cut out the high clipping, it automatically does that.
Sure. Yeah. Do you use like that, the bass position pickup and bridge pickup interchangeably for tone, or what's going on with that?
No, on the guitar, I keep it on the high one so that when I step on my wah-wah, it makes the lead stand out.
That's what's happening. That's an explosive thing that happens on like these records, man. When your leads kick in, it's like it's an explosion of sound. It's really tripping. I'm gonna take you back on a trip down memory lane. I have now, because I tell the story differently, and I don't know if you're going to be able to remember the story, but I'm going to tell you the story right now the way I remember it. And I can't remember how you got to our house. Did we stay at my house when you played the Metropolis in Chicago? I don't know if it was your first Chicago show.
I don't know.
How did we do that?
We went to the rehearsal room and practiced and
practiced and partied.
Yeah, your rehearsal room, and I don't know if we went to your house or not.
Oh,
it seems like some people went somewhere and some people went someplace else.
Oh, so it wasn't everyone together.
Yeah, it seems like that.
Yeah, because I'm telling the story. I know Armando wound up at our house. And because my mom, the story is that Armando, he just changed his accent. You know how he sounds, like, well, right, And my mom's like, more mashed potatoes. We were having pot roast or something. And my mom says, more mashed potatoes, Armando. And he's like, well, I don't mind if I do. His voice just wasn't him. So I just had to interject there to see if you'd get a yuck out of that. Yeah, that story, I guess it was. We were all split apart because some people were in Chicago and some people went home, a little bit outside of the city. And then it was just but I think it was the gig, though. It had to have been the show at the Metropolis. Can you remember?
Yeah, that was the show, yeah.
Yeah, can you remember anything from that show that stood out that either pissed you off or made you go, yeah?
I remember seeing you guys was great. So that was cool, because we had never seen Trouble before. So, No, that was good. That was a good crowd. There was a good amount of people there from what I remember, because that building's kind of hard to fill. So,
yeah, it's a two-story kind of thing. It's like that.
Yeah, that was almost a long-ass time ago, man. Scotty was still in the band.
Yeah, that was Scott Rieger's vocals. Yeah. And that was... those were some strange days. That's the same hall. I don't know if you know that they did the Cliff Them All shot, where they Metallica filmed and dedicated it to Cliff, and it's a crazy hall. It's almost like the one you just played at. That last I saw you with the Typo and Misfits thing, that 2-story tier thing, and wow, it was intense, bro.
Yeah, that was trippy. That was a weird hall.
Yeah, that was wild. We're looking at labels. It was mainly SST, right? And then Hellhound. And then is it those two, or are there more? What, or did anything happen? And is anything cataloging now? Is something changing, or is labels just too weird now?
There's Southern Lord. We released the live album and the V album.
Okay, the V album, Southern Lord, and that's Greg Anderson.
Yeah. Right, we released those 2 records.
That's awesome.
But that's it. It was just those other 2 labels, and we're gonna try and re-release some stuff too. Maybe in coordination with a new record or something. I don't know. We still gotta kind of figure that out. So
yeah.
Because we got the rights to different stuff. So
Right, catalogs are insanity. You guys deserve a good catalog, though. It'd be cool if there'd be a company, that just, drives it together and makes metal live forever. So, I forgot. I am actually going to talk to Greg. He's my second interview. You are my first interview. I've never done this before. I've done interviews before, answering the questions that come. Hey, why did you move to New Orleans then? Why did you go down there?
Oh, because I was my wife was from here, and I met her out in California, and I was looking for something different, and she wanted to come back here, so I just decided to try it, and that was basically it.
Did you fall in love with the city?
Yeah, the city's really cool. It's just the hurricanes are fucked up, but other than that, it's really cool. Yeah.
Can you tell us?
It's insane.
Yeah. Can you tell us about what you guys went through during the big one, like the Katrina one?
Well, she was here by herself, and she had a friend staying with her.
Yep.
And I was on tour with Debris, And so I was in Holland watching it on TV and talking to her on the phone, and her car broke down, and her stepdad had to come get her from, you know, another city and take them out, and it was fucking hectic. And then we couldn't get back we stayed at Ron's house until like just before Halloween or something, so for like almost a month we stayed there.
Wow. Now, were you there then with Sammy too? Yeah.
Sammy and Laura and their cat stayed upstairs, and then they partitioned off half of the living room, and that's where me and Tanya stayed, and they had a bed set up, you know, so it was cool, but it was really weird.
Yeah.
You know,
you got Ron and Dave from Debris Inc., Ron Holzner, Trouble bass player, Debris Inc., which we're going to talk about in a second here too, and Sammy, man, from Acid Bath, Goat Horror, and help me, what's the biggie? The Crowbar. Jesus, Crowbar. Yeah. Fucking that, did you, what, oh man. But at that time, here's you guys, and the craziest, for you listeners out there, Ron's house is the, you know, it's definitely not the Munsters, it's the what's the other creepy house? The Addams Family house, man, all the way. And then you guys are all in there. Did you write any tunes, all you guys? And you're like, come on, Sammy, grab a guitar. You just drank and were nervous.
Yeah, we tried, and Sammy would come up with these songs that had 150,000 riff changes in the first 30 seconds. I was like, no, man, I do 2 chords, dude. You know,
that's fucking great, dude. Right there. That's fucking peak interview stuff right there. Just to know that situation. I mean, that was a horrible time, Katrina. You know, I'm sorry that happened. I mean, well, what can you do? I mean, oh God. On that, are you guys having a problem down there with that oil stuff? It's a huge problem, and you know, the government's not paying any attention to it, and we're just hoping that we don't get hit with a hurricane, because if that stuff is sitting there and a hurricane hits, it's just going to coat the whole city with oil. Jesus. Yeah, I can't even imagine what kind of catastrophe. I mean, and then you think of fishermen, you know, shrimp guys, you know, Bubba Gump shrimp down there and stuff like. But man, Dave, that's intense lives. You guys, that's incredible, you know. Wow, dude, absolutely wow. Yeah, I know. I mean, that's part of life and stuff. Favorite St. Vitus record?
Die Healing.
Yeah. What do you like about it?
Because it's the one that's mixed the best and sounds the most like a real record.
Sure.
Like you can play it against any other record, and you don't have to turn it down or up or anything, you know. Yeah, Harris Johns produced it, the guy that did all the Sodom records.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. And it's really good. It's nice and clear. It's nice and loud. You can hear all the different instruments. It's not muffled, you know. It's really cool.
Sure. What was that era? What time period was that, Dave?
That was right at the end, so that would have been like 95, late 94.
Cool. 95. Wow. Intense. That's the year I, went back to Trouble for a stint. Plastic Arena days. And you stopped at that point. Did you get to go over in any of those last days? Did you get to do any of the fun European things that you're doing now then? Like, did you get to go to Dynamo or anything?
No, Hellhound messed it up, messed the tour up. So we ended up actually aborting the tour before we got to do any of the better places. But we never did any festivals at all. I never did a festival until I did the one with Debris when we did Wacken in 2002. That's
wild. So that's and for me, coming back in 95, that's what happened to me. We didn't do festivals, we did clubs, and we did theaters, and things like that, metal parties, big shows like that, and underground. That's interesting to know that, like, sort of the end and in the total rebirth of St. Vitus then. you know?
Yeah.
It's fun, though, ain't it? I mean, that's just
It's
great.
like an itch. You can't get rid of it.
Oh, that's awesome, though.
It's like a bad itch in the middle of your back.
I'll tell you though that that silly term legendary, you know, it's a real term for a lot of people, and they're getting to see you guys, you know, which is an odd thing. It is like I don't know what it would be like. You guys would be any band that people thought they'd never see, and now they can see them in, you know, Berlin, wherever you're going to be. You know, at the Mark Hall in, you know, Hamburg, Germany. Have you played that hall?
Yeah, we used to play there all the time, and we just played there in February. It was great. It was like sold out.
What room, were you in the room that, if there was a fire, we're all dead?
Yeah, we were in the big giant room.
Okay.
With all the rubber stairs and stuff.
Yeah, it is insane. It's
yeah, it's huge.
It seems like if something, and you're like 2 floors up, is.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
That is a great town, man. Hamburg, Germany, man. I just had to throw that out because I remember playing that room and going, we're going to die. Like, it just was bizarre. Major, I don't have a word for room phobia, but it's time for to throw some weirdness at you. Phobia. What is your fear, Dave?
Mine?
Do you have a fear?
I don't know. Not with music. No.
No, it wasn't meant that way. Anything, dude. How about
I have
do you have the fear
losing all my shit from a hurricane? Yeah.
Okay, that would be the fear of
flies and
lakes.
Everything else.
It's close. It's a cousin to limnophobia.
I don't think I have any phobias. I don't like to fly.
You have the fear of flying, kind of. But it ain't a fear of flying. You just don't like it because it's probably...
I just don't like it, yeah. I don't like heights, so, you know.
Yeah. How do you like Heathrow Airport?
It sucks. I hate that place.
I've never seen any more checkpoints and luggage getting opened and closed and sealed and back open again. And then no... Is there any escalators that work? I don't think so. Not there.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was just laughing at this day. I was trying to throw something weird at you in this phobia chart that I have. There is a fear of churches. It's called ecclesiophobia. There's a fear of flowers. Is there actually people afraid of flowers in New Orleans, Dave?
Not in New Orleans, no. There's much worse things to be afraid of. You don't have many flowers, actually.
The fear of flowers is anthophobia, which is an odd one. But the biggest one is, I know that you've caused this phobia in a lot of people, Dave, and it's called pogonophobia. And I want you, you have to guess what this fear is that you could have caused in some people. Pogonophobia. You gotta guess it. And
fear of loud noises.
Nope, that's wrong. But you know what? I want you to get the answer right on the show. It's fear of beards. So you gotta answer again. Fear of beards. Beards.
Fear of a beard?
Yeah.
Facial hair?
Yeah. Pogonophobia. So I'm gonna ask it again like that, and I just want you to say the word beards. So, Dave, do you know what pogonophobia means?
Fear of a beard.
You're right! Anyways, I had to do that. I just have to throw some wacko shit in there. And that's a live wacko thing for you to hear. And now we're going to get into some more history questions, if you don't mind. I hope I'm not killing you on this. You need to change that water to a beer. It was funny. We were going to call you at, it would have been 4 o'clock. We practiced today too, and we're like setting up. I got to be ready by 4. I don't even know if the system works, you know. And I'm calling you by Skype, And what happens is I'm like, I look like the Budgie singer. I've got two microphones in front of me right now because one receives you and one goes out to you. It's pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's wild. We want to ask how the changing of singers went by, because we know you had I think 3, right?
Yeah.
We're looking at, I got another book here I'm looking at, but we know it's, Wino and Scott Regers, but I don't really remember. Christian Linderson or something?
Yeah, it was very short. He was only with us for the COD album.
The COD
and
album.
He joined, he used to sing for Count Raven.
Oh, wow.
And they toured with us back in the day. So the record company basically picked him. We had another guy named Marshall Stacks that we wanted to use.
Marshall
and
Stacks?
So, yeah. The last name he made up, but his first name was Marshall.
That's wild.
Yeah, and he was really good, but the record company, for some reason, Hellhound didn't like him, and we think it's because they really wanted Chris. So they basically picked him, and we tried it, but it didn't work out. And it was only like, a couple years at the max, before that was just done, yeah. Wow.
And then in that, what happened in the history with Scott Regers versus changing into Wino then?
Well, Scott he ended up quitting because, we weren't doing anything. We couldn't make any money and stuff. And, he was trying to start a family and everything. So he just quit.
Sure.
And,
sort of like me.
Yeah, pretty well. Yeah, I guess. But so he just, and then we obviously had to find somebody, but we had heard the Obsessed, so we knew they weren't a band anymore.
Cool.
So, we liked Wino, so we just kind of hooked up like that with him. And, and he was looking to do something rather than just hang around on the East Coast and try and start another band. So, it was like an adventure for him. So
did he move and just change and drop everything and come out?
Yeah.
And was it at Long Beach?
Well, that's when we lived at Mark's house, the house that you and Ron came over.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that story in a second here, too. I forgot about it.
Yeah, it was, we were living there. So he stayed with Mark until he, got a place of his own or whatever, so.
I just remember going to the Long Beach Grand Prix with Ron.
Yeah.
And remember that? Oh, my God, that was great. That was just a fucking great time. I actually was going out to do something. I don't remember what it was, but that was a great time, and we got to hang with you guys. He played that show somewhere down Southern California.
We were supposed to do a show, but we didn't play it, and you guys went there, and we weren't there.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
God,
and
man.
Dukowski gave you my phone number.
And then from there, we got to hang with you. We just came
right over. Yeah, we told
over.
you guys just come over and hang out because they booked the show and didn't tell us, and Scotty or someone wasn't even in town.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny as hell. I guess I don't know what I was doing. I think I was trying to audition for the Farm Aid thing for Sabbath.
You guys were out there for some kind of trouble business or something. I forget what it was because Ron wasn't in the band yet.
Yeah, I was auditioning for Black Sabbath at Don Arden's office in L.A.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
And what happened was I came into the office and some dude came out and goes, "We're sorry, we're glad you came, but we really don't need to even do this because Bill Ward is better now." I guess Bill Ward was going through like a tough time or something.
Yeah, he was going through his alcohol problems, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember the race that day, Long Beach Grand Prix?
I didn't go, remember? I stayed home. You and Ron went with my roommate Louie and Mark.
And then we stumbled back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I had to get up early and work the next day or something, some weird thing or something.
Because my memory blurs it all together. I'm glad that I'm having this interview because it's total clarity now. Because can you imagine an interview? Yeah, we went out there. We're there with Dave from St. Vitus. We're at the Long Beach Grand Prix. And it was amazing. Mario Andretti beat whatever the guy's name was. I just remember the Beatrice T-shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
We had something weird going on with that, some silly. Anyways, back to you guys, man. When you seem to do a lot of the writing Dave? Like, is it all of it? And you just like, how do you guys work your music when you construct pieces?
Well, usually when we, practiced all the time, I would just, because I wrote, 90% of it. Weiner wrote some stuff on the songs he played guitar on, and then, Mark wrote the music to Psychopath and Angry Man.
Sure.
But I would just write the song and then come into practice, and I would teach it to him. That's basically how we did it.
And you just kind of learn it?
Once we learned the basis of it, then everybody would just like experiment on their own,
Awesome. There's a singer on some of that, female voice, and then you sang too. But,
yeah, that was on When Emotion Dies. That's Lino playing the guitars.
It's wild. It sounded like, and I was wondering, if someone sounds a little bit like Grace Slick, but a little cleaner. Who was that?
We were going to use this. There was a band a trio of girls over there that we did shows with, and they were friends with the record company. We were just going to use them because they all sang, but they had to go on tour, so they couldn't do it. And this one girl who had taken vocal lessons said she could do 3 different octaves or whatever, so we just let her do it.
Cool. That was cool. What was her name? Do we remember?
Fiona.
Can you remember? Fiona. Did she ever surface? Like in music?
I have no idea. After that, we didn't see her or anything after that. She was like friends with one of the guys from Hellhound or something, I think.
Oh, okay. That's just cool. I like to ask them obscure questions because those particular tunes, when I was listening to it, really hit me in a unique way. I was just like, wow, this is like a dynamic thing going on. This is pretty wild. Let's go back then into the future, and we just did that. We did like my last West Coast tour with Trouble, and there's Blood of the Sun playing with us in Dallas Fort Worth. I don't know if it was Vinnie Paul's little pub there. Wow! And we love Blood of the Sun. We played with them over at Roadburn in Holland. And how did that situation occur with Henry, and Blood of the Sun? How did that happen? Like, what's the story there?
Well, Henry was he was the last drummer in Debris with me and Ron. And so he actually became the regular drummer in Debris. So
I didn't know that. I'm going to call Ron tonight and go, dude, I don't know anything. I'm learning.
When Armando couldn't do it anymore, then Henry was my first choice.
Wow.
Because he could already play a couple of the songs because we were doing them in Debris. So.
Wow.
And we had a huge festival that we had to play, so I wanted someone who could learn quick, and I knew that was good. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's what I forgot about. I need to go. Then let's go backwards back into the Debris thing. Then Henry's an awesome dude. He's just got there's something about that dude, man. He's just a good brother, man. He's really cool. Yeah. He is really cool. And man, does he slam. I remember seeing him at Roadburn, just going, we got to follow that? My cymbals have cracks in them. He's got the best cymbals in the world.
He breaks them, too.
I bet he does, man. Did you guys play Roadburn?
Yeah, we played Roadburn last year. Not this year, last year.
Can you reflect on that?
No, that was like Armando's last thing.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying, reflect on Roadburn anyways. I mean...
Oh, it was cool. It was, we had never done Roadburn before, so it was good. And we hadn't been to Europe in a while, and we did 3. We did Cologne and Munich and Stuttgart. We had never been to Munich before, but
sure.
But the other places we had been, so it was cool just to get over there and do it.
Yeah.
So that was really good. That was fun. And the Roadburn people are cool. Walter's a cool dude.
Oh, Walter is just the nicest guy. No stress. You ever notice that? Here is a guy handling that festival.
Yeah, it's a huge clusterfuck, and he just mellowed out.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really, you think he'd be just sweating blood or something. All right, I'm gonna give you some of these. I'm reading this page of questions here. I was reading a St. Vitus was originally called Tyrant. Who made that change? Did you change that, or what was up with that story?
Well, there was we were called Tyrant, but there was like a whole shitload of bands that were called that. And there was even one from the East Coast that had a record out and stuff.
Okay.
So we were like, well, we got to come up with a different name. And we just, because we were into Sabbath, we just thought that St. Vitus sounded weird. So, we decided to look it up to make sure it wasn't some weird fucking evil thing, And so we were like, oh, that's good. Let's just use that. And we didn't, we didn't know if we would, that was going to be the long-term name that we would keep forever, because we just needed something so we wouldn't be called Tyrant,
Yeah.
So
that's
and
wild.
we just stuck with it basically because we're lazy and didn't want to think of anything else, and it just worked out. So.
I'm going to dig into some other questions here. These are, let me just look at these. How many albums do you guys have? Do you know? I mean, like, not the bootlegs.
I think it's like 9 or 10.
9 records.
Maybe 10 if you count the Heavier Than Thou compilation that SST did.
Cool, yeah.
That's like releases, because 2 of them were the EPs.
Sure. So there's EPs, but you know what? They're albums, because remember our vinyl days, they were still big, and I didn't care if it was an EP. I loved it, man. I remember the freaking Angel Witch EP? Yeah, I love that shit. Baphomet and all that. The drummer of I Hate God and Crowbar, Debris Incorporated. Who's Jimmy Bauer?
Oh, Jimmy played with us for a while. He's a drummer for Down. Yeah, and he plays guitar in I Hate God, and then he was the drummer in Debris for like a one kind of big tour plus some other stuff. So he's not on the record though.
That's some wild stuff. On that note, that freshens up a memory that I had the other day about what I would ask you, and it is the camaraderie in your town there. Who do you guys hang out with each other? Anybody? Are people?
Yeah, but I mean, we run into people. I hang around with. What the hell is Pat's last name? Pat Bruders from Crowbar.
That's awesome.
Their bass player. I hang around with him a lot.
That's cool.
Like he comes over to the house, and when we go out to shows together, or just go out drinking together, and shit like that. And and when we if somebody plays somewhere, we'll go, and everybody will be there.
That's awesome.
Jimmy will be there, and Pepper, and all them people. So
that place has got some serious metalers, man.
Yeah.
Grooving, great people down there, man. All
there's
those
some
bands.
hardcore fans.
Yeah. There are a lot of doom bands out there that are coming up. Are there any that stick out to you that you like that are new?
To be honest with you, I don't listen to any of it. I just, I mean, people will give me records, and I'll come home and I'll listen to them, and then I just, it just kind of doesn't register. So I don't really pay much attention, because the stuff that I listen to is like the stuff that I always listened to before, or like the pop stuff that I told you about. I listen to that kind of stuff, but
sure,
I really don't pay much attention to it, to be honest with you. Which it always trips people out. They're like, huh? Isn't that all you listen to? And I'm like, no.
I kind of feel guilty. I don't know what that is. Is there's not enough time. You'd have to, have a separate maybe stem cell thing. Pull out, create a new Dave Chandler that could just listen to everybody else's music that they give you on the road.
Yeah, but that's not a doom band. Yeah. She goes, you like this system? They're a great band. They sound like Discharge.
Yeah.
They're really fucking good.
There's not enough time. But now I have a certain day that I'm just dedicating to the study of great metal.
Yeah.
But it ain't just metal, but it's all, it's all groove and music and art, and that's what's cool. Do you do anything else, Dave, like that blows your mind? What's your favorite thing for our audience to hear that you like doing other than jamming? Like, other than being on stage, what do you do? You paint? Do you sculpt? Do you do anything else?
No, I work part-time in a head shop, and then I just sit around home and get loaded.
That's great, dude. I work at a brewery and come home and...
Yeah. I don't really have, I like, I guess you could say my hobby is TV, because I play video games, and
Sure.
I, watch movies and that kind of shit, yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. So you like TV and hanging out and just like chilling, man. That's relaxation, bro. There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Have you ever tried growing anything?
The only thing I want to grow, I can't,
I'm supposed to ask you about the topsy-turvy.
What is that?
I don't know, I guess.
Oh, the tomato hanging thing? You have to keep it outside so it would be visible. That's the problem with it. You can't grow it inside.
Right. Look at that giant plant.
Yeah, hanging upside down.
This one happens to be 20 feet in length, and it's hanging from like a bucket truck or something. Who's the most interesting person you've ever met on the road?
On the road?
Yeah, on the road, dude. We're meddlers here.
I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, that's like a weird, because you meet so many like weirdo fucking fans. It's like, what's wrong with that guy?
Well, it could be interesting. It could be cool, like the coolest guy or the nicest guy, or the biggest asshole you've ever met. I mean, it could be anything you would like. It could still be interesting. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of them,
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, just like cool people that you meet. It was cool talking to a couple of the guys from Slipknot.
Yeah.
When we did the with Full Force Festival, because Stone Sour played. So we hung out with them for a little while in the like tent where all the food was. So that was like really cool,
Did they?
And that was like weird.
Were they wearing their? Was that a Roadrunner experience, like from the V album? Like you're in the Roadrunner tent?
No, it was a reunion tour or the reunion shows in 2003.
Sure.
We went over there, and Stone Sour was playing. So.
Oh, sure. Both of them together.
And I was a big fan of them.
So am I.
No, Slipknot wasn't playing though.
Oh, okay. But it was the guys.
But two of the guys from Slipknot are in Stone Sour.
That's like the main. What's the guy's name? I'm sorry.
It's the singer Corey and.
It's Corey. Yeah.
One of the guitar players, James, I think, is the guitar player. That's
some very talented metal and deep, dark musicians. Blown away.
They're cool people.
They are very cool, and I've run into people with their, that weird metal opinion that some people have had in the past. They're just like, very opinionated. I don't like them. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And they stole it from this, and they did this, and it's like, I love the music. I don't care, I mean, some of the percussion and drumming, and the dark, heavy guitar lines are just mind blowing. And then to know that it's that they're totally cool. There's so many urban myths with them, like I was gonna joke about it. Did they eat through their masks, or something like that? Which they weren't in costume, because it ain't Stone Sour, it's not Slipknot. But
they were just like hanging out. They weren't in costume. I didn't even know the guitar player was the same guy till he told me he was. I was like, oh, whoa.
That's cool. That's cool. And you know what? A lot of people out there that are going to hear your interview are going to hear that too and be blown away, which is really... Yeah,
they were nice guys. I liked them a lot. It was really cool.
That's cool, man. We have an agreement there, and man, that is really, really happening. Did you hear about the bass player thing?
Yeah, I heard about that. That was sad. That's always sad when you hear shit like that.
Yep. That's totally rough. And then Peter,
Yeah, that was a total bummer. It was like the show you saw us at was the last time that we saw him.
Yep. That's the last time I saw him, too. You and I saw him, together then the last time. Together, you and I. And that's just, that's pretty tragic.
A cool dude.
Yeah, he's... funny, amazing, and a lot of people might not get him because of like his sound or like metal.
Yeah.
People don't get us because we're a rare breed.